Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome into another episode of the PHNX Suns Podcast. I'm Lindsay. That's Gerald. That's Espo. Shout out to everyone who is already with us in the chat on YouTube. Marco, Psycho Blue, D-Rock Trainer, Leo, Patrick, Brian. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already, because why not?
Lindsay, I have to make an announcement off the top of the show.
Okay.
Eric, are you prepared? Can you hit it? Arizona sports fan, are you better off than you were in September of 2021? Are you better since this man took office? The answer is simply no.
My name is Derek Montia, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX.
The Suns have lost multiple times in sad fashion in the playoffs. The Cardinals went 10-2 to start in 2021, and since then, they're 9-30. ASU football fired a coach and an AD, and they're 6-18. Oh, and the Coyotes? Well, the Coyotes, they moved to Utah. Yeah, that's right, that Utah. Not only did he lose games, he lost an entire franchise for the Valley. Everything he's touched, except for the Arizona Diamondbacks, has been a complete failure. He's only helped the team he covers. Quite convenient, isn't it? Do you want a mayor that's only in it for himself, or one that wants everyone to succeed? The choice is yours. Vote this November. Paid for by the Espo for Mayor Coalition. I'm Espo, and I approve this message. It's time for Phoenicians to stand up and vote this man out, wherever he is behind me. Because it's time for the Phoenix Suns to win a championship, and under my mayorship, they will.
Hey.
It's time to get Larry O'Brien here and get Derek Montia out as mayor of PHNX, and I promise you that I will do everything in my power to bring you that title. I'm Espo, and I approve this message.
I'm going to have a lot of questions, just so you guys know. I hope you all come correct, because I'm going to have a lot of questions.
Like policy questions.
We need Lindsay to be the moderator on the debate, for sure.
She'd be a great moderator.
I would mute your mic immediately if you start talking out sideways. Trust me. I am excited for this. Mm-hmm. This will be a good election. Anybody else going to be joining in? Maybe not.
I've heard rumors of one Petey. Steve Peters might enter.
We'll see if anybody else.
Let's just say he's one of those fringe candidates I'm not overly concerned about.
Wow. We hit him with the third-party candidate.
Yeah,
okay.
That basically.
Damn.
And the incumbent has proven time and time again that he's incapable of completing the job the way he needs to.
Okay.
I am here for you, the people, and I will be a mayor that you can believe in.
Okay.
Can I count the ballots?
No. I don't know if you can be trusted with that much power.
Why? I would be great at it. I would be great at it. Yes. Anyway, keep an eye out, because apparently we are electing a new mayor of PHNX, and maybe some of you can vote too. See if we can sneak that in there.
I will say, you guys better hope that Archie Bradley doesn't throw his name into the pot, because
that'd be a sweep for
the newcomer, he would come with a lot of votes, I think.
I'm going to say this. Archie is actually in line to be my vice mayor.
Oh.
We're going to have some conversations.
Wow.
None of this thunderstick Jesse Friedman. I've got the beard Archie Bradley that I'm going to welcome into my campaign with open arms.
It's a strong ticket.
Oh, my goodness. So you're saying there's already beef in this office?
Oh, there's no beef, because everybody knows I'm better than Derek.
That's why I was trying to do a transition, and you killed it.
I mean,
I thought we were on this level of
there's beef in this office, Lindsay.
Thank you.
There you go.
Speaking of beef, Shall we talk about some Suns beef? God, you just ruined the whole thing. I quit. I can't work under these conditions anymore.
That's rough.
I'm so tired.
Would you say you have beef?
We're going to rank and file the teams the Suns have the most beef with today. So our categories are pure evil, aka all-time rivals, current big-time rivals, some beef, a little bit of beef, and they're cool.
They're cool.
They can hang. They're cool.
This is in honor of our new friends DLLS launching today.
Yes.
Yeah, mostly, out of jealousy because they've got the great Mark Stein on the
do.
beat. They've got a murderer's row over there at DLLS. Check them out. Today and today only, we are forgiving them for the 2023 playoffs. It's a one-day only special, so go check them out, and then we can
tomorrow,
feel a certain way.
Tomorrow it's on.
Yeah. Welcome to the family, guys.
All right, guys, let's start with our first team here. We're going to look at the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
Obviously, one of the bigger things here is the whole KD, Mikal Cam trade and fan bases feeling like they had to pick sides and things of that nature. Anything else really stand out to you as far as potential beef there?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, really. It's just the lingering feelings about arguably the biggest trade in Suns history. And to be honest, Mikal's not even in Brooklyn anymore. So that should take away like half of those resentment feelings. And it's time to move on.
As the historian here, too, the fact that Jason Kidd reached great success there and in another city we'll talk about, it grinds my gears a little bit, but I'm not going to hold it too much against them.
Yeah, the only reason that happened is because the East was garbage when he played for the Nets.
I mean, they did get a better Vince Carter than we got too. But you know what? I don't have that much. They were basement dwellers for most of the time in the league. So,
so to be honest,
sorry, I was going to say Dennis Schroeder was on the Nets. I think he might be a free agent, but if he re-signs there might be a little KD Dennis Schroeder beef going on.
I'm pretty sure he's still there. Like, I think they would be in little beef for me because there is still some feelings between these two fan bases about the KD trade, but it's not like a big deal.
It's like a slider.
Right.
Yeah.
Little
just
little
a little.
beef.
I think little beef is good. I'd be happy with putting Brooklyn Nets in little beef.
Little beef.
And make sure you guys let us know how you're feeling in the comments as well. So next up, we've got the Charlotte Hornets. Not really much here for me, y'all.
It's really,
it's the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, it's honestly the only thing that I can think of is why didn't you give us Nick Richards and also the existence of Grant Williams as just a perpetual annoyance. But that's really it. They're not significant enough to be anything other than they're cool for me.
I mean, until recently, I would have had him in big time rival. But only because Michael Jordan owned them, and fuck that guy is the way.
Big time rival for the Hornets would have been a bit much.
So no, look, man. I mean, what am I supposed to get mad at when it comes to the Hornets? Like that they decided to play the Suns on your wedding last year, so we missed the post game. Like that's all I got.
I was even cool with that because I was like, oh, okay, I'm not missing a big game.
No, that's true.
Right,
did me a favor.
So they cool.
Brian in the chat says free wins equals we cool.
Yeah, that is also true.
Cool.
There you go. They're cool.
Yep.
Charlotte Hornets. One day, maybe we'll get there. One day. All right, next up, we've got the Detroit Pistons. Now, obviously, I think you could have maybe last year made an argument there was something there with the Monty Williams thing, but that's no longer an issue anymore either.
It's kind of crazy. 2 of our players got punched last year, and the Pistons were the cause of one of those. But Drew Eubanks is now gone. Monty now gone. I feel like they're in there cool because, again, not really relevant enough for us to worry about them right now.
I mean, look, our shadow GM came from there. Our CEO, Josh Bartelstein, came from there. No Monty. We have a G League team, so them stealing our G League team no longer matters. To me. I'm cool. They got to live in Detroit, so you got to feel bad for them in that way. And historically, I don't really have anything. I mean,
there's not a ton there. Is
they
there?
also have a really good media room.
Do they?
It's like a whole on buffet. It's like the little Caesar's buffet type thing.
I heard good things about it.
So
okay.
Yeah, and our owners from there too. So and Devin technically. So.
Yeah. Detroit, you could be cool.
Yeah, we got.
I'm gonna put them ahead of the Hornets though.
Ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
for sure.
Okay.
I would rock with Detroit before I would the Hornets. personally.
Shouldn't they?
Wait, so they should be at the
lower.
They should be at the bottom.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So,
I would put them
You're
at,
right.
Yeah,
My bad. Usually we're doing this the opposite way.
yeah.
I
They're the
always
most
forget that.
friendly, so they're at the bottom.
Okay, perfect. All right, next up, we've got the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, you got Draymond Green on the Warriors. He did punch our guy.
He did.
But he's kind of cool with Book.
He is.
What are we feeling?
And he's cool with Ishbia.
Yeah.
Michigan State. Look,
And Steph seems to like Book too. And then now you don't have the Klay Thompson Book drama, even though that was squashed shortly after. But
I think this is historical. I think you got to go back further with them. You have, the 70s. They had some playoff battles, and it kind of went back and forth. You look at the 90s. You had Chris Webber insulting Charles Barkley, and then Charles Barkley handing the Warriors a crushing defeat. You've got Steve Kerr, who was the GM here when you thought that the Suns traded for Steph Curry, but didn't. Then he bailed, and then he wound up coaching Steph Curry and winning championships. I got to put him at least some beef. And you could convince me that maybe they're at the tail end of big-time rivals, because anybody that has that much success, you're in your dark period, you got to consider being in there with the history around it.
Yeah, when I did my rankings for this last week for our newsletter, our PHNX newsletter, I think I had them in the top 10 just because of the fact that over the last decade, they've kind of ruled with an iron fist. So there's that, the Pacific Division rivalry thing, the fact that you play them 4 times a year, that leads into it. The fact that Draymond punched our starting center in the face a little bit. I know him and Book are cool or whatever, but when it's the Warriors versus the Suns, there's a little bit more to it. So I feel like, especially that one season when it felt like we were on a collision course with the Warriors to whoever won that was going to win the West, and we didn't hold up our end of the bargain. But I would probably lean like at the very top of some beef or at the bottom of big time rival.
I am with you, because also when you think about it too, like as much as Draymond is doing it from a place of liking Devin Booker, he did try to convince the drama, or tried to stir the pot as far as get Book out of Phoenix. And from a fan base perspective, like, how about instead of get Book out of Phoenix, get our owner, who was terrible at the time, out. Right. Bring in people who actually can help him, like we are now. Like, why did it have to be stealing our guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also you look at it, and we got to defend our guy Kevin Durant, and where a lot of that crap started was Draymond and everybody on KD's way out stirred up this narrative about Kevin Durant that isn't fair. So I put that on YouTube, Golden State. So put him at the end of big time rival, because screw those guys.
And Curry hit a game winner on us last year.
That's true.
Which was super rude.
we forgot about that too.
Who even does that? So rude.
Rude.
All right, next up, we've got the Utah Jazz. Obviously, the biggest thing here is that they stole the Arizona Coyotes like a bunch of a-holes.
Stole it.
And we'll never forgive you for that.
I love that you're saying that as the GM of the Utah hockey team in the building.
Whoops. Well, I don't blame him for that.
Well,
he
no,
didn't steal them.
I don't. But I'm just Look,
Whoops.
I'd love say it louder, Linz.
I'd love to tell you that I have.
I said what I said.
I'd love to tell you I have some horrible hate towards the Utah Jazz, but outside of the hockey thing, they've been inconsequential in the Suns story in the entire time, right? Like, I can't think of a time there was no real playoff run-ins. There's nothing like, okay, so I don't like Karl Malone. I mean, but nobody does. Right. That doesn't put him on a rival list. So I can't really drum up much disdain for this team.
The only thing that I can think of aside from the hockey angle, which is not relevant to NBA, is the fact that now Drew Eubanks plays for the Utah Jazz.
But I guess the question you have to ask then is, what side of the coin are you on? Is that a thanks, appreciate ya, or a how dare you steal our guy? No, because I feel like a good portion of the fan base would be like, thanks, Utah.
It's not a you stole our guy at all. It's more of a, when we play the Utah Jazz, it's going to be like, man, screw the Jazz.
Yeah, no, I feel like
that's
I think it's an individual player. I feel bad for the people in Utah. So that's how I feel.
I've never heard you ever say that sentence before.
I mean, in that one case, I mean,
they got. I think they're fine. They're either cool or at the end of a little beef.
So there's two things. One in the chat is they're saying they were rivals when Donovan Mitchell was there, and it was the Donovan versus Book thing. That's kind of in the past. Here's something that makes me mad, and maybe this is just a me thing.
Okay.
Trading Rudy Gobert for the haul that they were able to get absolutely fucked the market with Kevin Durant and completely drove his price up because Gobert was going for that. So you could argue the Utah Jazz, Danny H specifically, is the reason why the Suns had to give up so much to get KD. You could argue that.
I don't hold that. That doesn't.
I think you put it in little beef.
Like near the end of Little Beef?
It has to have some beef simply because of the Coyotes angle. I know that we're the NBA, whatever, but still.
Right.
It wouldn't be right to put them in a cool spot.
No.
There was that one season, like the 2021 season when they went to the finals where it was us and Utah at the top. And there was some animosity there. That was when Donovan still played there. I think at this point, a lot of that has fizzled out because they're not very good. I would put them, near the end of Little Beef.
I'm just going to look in the camera and say this to everybody in Utah and anybody that actually thought that was a debate. Devin Booker has always and will always be better than Donovan Mitchell. If you thought different, you don't know basketball. So maybe that's enough to move you into Little Beef, even though I was going to say you guys in Utah are cool.
So do we bear in mind with these rankings the beef that you stir up on the show? Like, can we?
No. I mean,
because if you go on a tangent, we're going to have to bump them up.
No, they can have beef with us. That doesn't mean we have, look.
I just want to clarify.
You can beef with me. I'm fine with that. All right. Believe me, I've been there and I've had plenty of that. So.
All right. Utah's going to go in little beef.
Okay.
Next up, we got Washington Wizards. There's not a whole lot here.
Yeah.
We stole all their guys.
We did steal all of their backcourt from the last 5 years.
What do you got? What am I forgetting?
Landry Shamet.
That's not.
Okay.
That's irrelevant.
Definitely forgot about that.
That's all I could come up with.
I was like, I definitely forgot about that one.
I mean,
yeah. And thank you for Bradley Beal. Thank you for Tyus Jones. Thank you for Monty Morris.
I just, if anything, I kind of feel bad for them.
I feel bad. They got to live in Washington, D.C.
I think there could be beef on the horizon depending on those pick swaps. I don't think they will matter, but it is something we'll be keeping an eye on because if they wind up getting like better picks than us, then there'll be a little more beef.
Damn you for selling me on Jordan Goodwin.
That's the only beef that I can think of.
I mean, he's a youngin'.
There's not even history here. Like I can't think back to the Bullets. There's nothing.
So they're cool?
I would say they're
in
cool.
front of or behind the Hornets?
I would put them in front of the Hornets because, like I said, those pick swaps we could wind up presenting them, but probably won't.
All right, the Miami Heat. There's not a ton here for me either. Maybe the Tyler Hero Book comparison, but that always felt like it was kind of like
forced.
Well, yeah, or from Tyler's perspective, that it was like, I want to be like Devin Booker.
It was more admiration on his part.
It wasn't really like...
It was more his fan base that took it too far in terms of like, oh, he's going to be the next Book.
I irrationally hate the Heat.
Why?
And I was thinking about it, and I can't tell you why. I don't think it's the Shaq for Marion trade because, you know what, it kind of... that both guys had worn out their welcome in the city that they were in at the time. I don't know if it's because since I was a kid, I felt like they were just the Walmart version of the Phoenix Suns. You turn the basketball the other direction, put it in a hoop. You take the thing that the sun creates in heat, and you name it after that. Like it's like, all right, you got the slightly better city because you got the ocean there. Do you have to steal our naming too?
Yeah.
Like that's the irrational part. That and there was always the rumor that they were going to trade Alonzo Mourning to the Suns in the 90s, and they never did. So I don't know. I irrationally just don't like Miami.
I think there's the whole Pat Riley thing too. The fact that they've had success in recent years. The fact that that they're kind of compared to Phoenix in a lot of ways, that it's a hot city. A lot of people like to go there, but you know, the fan base has come under attack at different times. The Twitter accounts between these two were actually beefing over that very thing recently.
So stupid.
There's a little bit there. It is funny.
No, I thought
it's funny.
I thought the Suns was good. I thought the Miami response is like,
oh yeah, that was dumb.
It's called capacity in a stadium. Like it has nothing to do with actually
cool
people
story,
buying tickets.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's like, oh wow, you built a bigger building that you're not filling. Congratulations,
Also,
Miami.
Literally, like, there's a reason that the joke is what the Suns tweeted about Miami.
Yeah.
It's true.
Because it is very true.
And Heat culture is like, come on.
Heat culture
you
thing,
put it on a jersey, you wrote some words on a floor. Like, Heat culture is Pat Riley's an ass. Like, that's Heat culture.
Well, if it works, it works.
Oh,
okay.
come on.
That's a quote for a billboard right there.
I think I would be willing to give you towards the end of Little Beef if you want some beef here.
I'd probably put them between Nets or Jazz, maybe in front of the Nets.
Yeah?
Beef.
I would like them in front of the
I
Nets.
still think
Okay, fine.
there's more beef with the Nets just because of the whole trade.
All right,
but
fine. Put them in between.
Little beef.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just
By
not
the way-
a lot of beef.
I hate Miami, but if you want to go to Miami, we got to. No, we'll talk about that in our ad break.
Well done.
Yeah. 3 more teams and then I'll tell you about that. I should have put them last. That would have been smart, huh? The Milwaukee Bucks, obviously.
Pure evil.
2021 NBA Finals, the coin toss. We got Coach Bud.
Pure evil.
I'm down with that. You can stick
Pure
them there if you want.
Freaking evil.
Yeah.
Considering you
you
got
have to.
recent and the furthest back that you can go, basically. I
The
support
coin
it.
toss and the finals, that's the beginning of our history and the most recent time that we had a chance
Yeah.
to win a title. They've
They're
got to be pure
shitty.
evil.
It smells like stale beer. They tried to steal the color purple in the 90s from the Suns. They can get bent.
And
all
just
right?
the fact that we
Yeah.
were up 2-0 in that series, and then Kareem Abdul-Jabbar posts that fucking social media video, and from then on it was 4-0 Bucks. Like, that's just, he invoked evil. Like, he brought it into the world and manifested it in front of our very eyes.
All right.
I sat in the Suns media room, the Al McCoy media room, eating dinner one night when I'm with the Suns, and I hear Jerry Colangelo behind me. He wasn't there a lot, but I recognized the voice, and I turn around, and it's him and Kareem right behind me eating. And I so badly wanted to like smack Kareem in the back of the head or be like, "What the hell, man? Really, you're the reason I am such a miserable human being because of the coin toss."
I'm glad that you didn't assault a 7-footer
I mean,
because that
yeah.
wouldn't have gone well for
That
you.
probably
I
but-
wouldn't have actually done it, but there was just this, the
Inkling.
9-year-old
I
me
get it.
going.
I'm glad
really?
your inner thoughts didn't win that day,
Yeah.
but I totally get it. I mean, I do.
I didn't
Okay.
even talk to him. I couldn't bear it.
Hey,
Yeah.
Espo, why'd you lose your job with the Suns? Oh, I smacked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It'd be a great
I mean, it
story.
would.
It would have been a
Actually,
great story.
To be fair, I would have been smacking Lou Alcindor, not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
Fair. Close enough.
Yeah.
All
that
right,
ship
Bucks
sailed.
are pure evil. Next
Okay.
up, Chicago Bulls.
Oh, man. So,
End of big time rival.
yeah, I would put them in big time rivals. I had them 16th on my list, but when I did my list, it was current rivals because there's virtually nothing there right now. But you cannot ignore the 93 finals, obviously. So, yeah, I would probably say big time rival.
Yeah, ahead or behind the Golden State Warriors?
Behind. Ahead.
I feel like you kind of got to give them the nod a little
Yeah.
bit with the
Yeah,
history.
just because of the finals thing.
Yeah.
Espo went to war with the city of Chicago earlier this year.
Right.
They are my villain story. They were my.
But does that say more about the rivalry or more about how little you need to make some beef?
Hey, look. My hurt is your hurt. My hurt is Suns fans' hurt.
I could
My
not
beef
disagree
is
more
your
on that.
beef.
Get on board, Gerald.
If I embraced as much hurt as you embrace, I don't think I'd be a functioning human being.
That's why you should be so damn impressed with me, Gerald.
I am. I'm very impressed.
All right, next up, we've got the Denver Nuggets.
Pure
Ew.
evil, and so are their podcasters.
Ew.
They are one of our biggest rivals
They
now.
are at this
right
point.
now in this moment, like there's only one team that I would put above them on the list. So
You want the Nuggets in front of the Bucks?
no, not in
No.
front of the it's tough. That's
Behind?
tough
Right
because
behind?
you can never take away the finals thing.
They
Like
still knocked us out of the playoffs, so
they
that's the
did,
thing.
but
Yeah,
that was like a
they
game without
talked a
DA
lot
and
of
without Chris
smack.
Paul. They did. We also swept them a year before and we talked a lot of shit too.
So as far as like both teams go,
Yeah, it might be more of a rivalry because there's
That's-
more
that's
back
fair.
and
That's a
forth.
good
It's
point.
definitely like
It's more mutual
Yeah.
than
I think
one
the
sided.
coin toss, though,
The coin toss
the,
is
the basis of what every Suns fan thinks is that if there is a curse, is that it gives them the slight edge. It gives the Bucks a slight edge to me.
I would agree with that. I do think the moments that we've had recently are cementing them as one of our all-timers, like Suns in 4, the fact that Jokic bear swiped campaign in that knockout game, The whole quote, if we had Jamal Murray,
Ishbia and Jokic.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And kind of the fact that we both, like, over the last 5 years have kind of been on this upward trajectory towards the top of the West. Like, it kind of happened similar timelines, so that
PHNX,
contributes.
DNVR.
Yeah.
Brian said blocking your chat after you get cooked. Look, I think this comes to a head this year. These two meet in the playoffs.
Okay.
The Suns exercise their demons, and then you can put them in big time rival and not pure evil, because we will exercise the demons.
Okay.
I just want the Suns to do well against the Nuggets so that I can talk more trash in the group chat with DNVR. That's all.
That's fair.
Just want to be able to talk all the smack.
Putting them ahead of Bucks or behind Bucks?
I still say behind.
We can put them behind.
That's fine.
With the potential
okay
to
with
leapfrog depending on what happens this season.
Yeah.
If we didn't have the sweep, and it was just the disappointment the following year, I might move them ahead of the Bucks. But the sweep was a fun moment. So
Okay.
And the Bucks are responsible for like 2 of Suns fans' most 5 traumatizing moments.
Agreed.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Back to Miami. Like Espo was saying, if you want to go to Miami,
and
PHNX Cardinals crew is taking on Miami with True Fan Travel. They're going to watch the Cardinals take on the Dolphins on October 27th, and the whole trip is going to be an absolute blast. It's happening from October 25th to October 28th. Head to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. This is kind of one of those like big time travel across the country with the PHNX Cardinals crew. Have an absolute blast, go into enemy territory, and hopefully take a W and bring it back home. Like I said, that's truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. And of course, be on the lookout for more road trips brought to you by our friends at True Fan Travel.
City's nice. The basketball team. Get stuff. Also, if you don't want to wait until October to hang out with us, you can come and watch the PHNX Sports crew for the PHNX Fantasy Football Live Draft at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass on this Thursday, August 29th. All 12 members of the PHNX Fantasy League will be drafting live at 6:30 p.m. So come hang out. We're going to have giveaways, drink specials, and amazing vibes. You can get all the details over at gophnx.com. We'll dive into some more teams here in just a second, but first, let me tell you guys about our friends over at Sanderson Ford. Sanderson Ford is a proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they're giving you big payoffs like 0% financing on new 2024 F-150s, Escapes, Edge, Explorers, and Expeditions, with just added huge Labor Day sell-a-thon rebates of up to $3,400. Our friends over at Sanderson Ford love hooking it up around these holiday sales, so now is a great time to stop in and shop the Sanderson Ford Playoff Payoff Sale with no hassles, no pressure, and no nonsense. They're giving you big payoff, like 0% financing. That had giving you in here twice, so that kind of threw me for a loop. My bad. Let me try that again. It's fundamental.
They are giving you big payoff, like 0% financing, with just added huge Labor Day sell-a-thon rebates of up to $3,400. All offers expire on September 3rd, 2024. Finance offers for 36 months OAC through Ford Motor Credit, up to $3,400 rebates on Ford 150 XLT. Now, a disclaimer, you do get 0% for 36 months OAC from Ford Credit. See dealer for details, but what I can promise you the most about Sanderson Ford is that the customer satisfaction is top notch. They are America's most awarded Ford dealership for customer satisfaction. So if you're looking for a good shopping experience to find your new vehicle, check them out.
We're talking beef today.
Yes.
And there's no bigger beef in baseball than Dodgers at Diamondbacks. And our friends over at Game Time want to hook you up and get you into Dodgers at D-backs on Labor Day for 50% off. Ooh. That's right. You got the day off of work. You got nothing to do. You might as well go see some good baseball where the Arizona Diamondbacks, a wagon, are actually right on the heels of the Dodgers. Maybe if they play well, they actually surpass the Dodgers in the NL West standings on that game. And you can see it at half price. Why wouldn't you want to go there? It's one of the great things about Game Time. And we recommend that you become a part of the Game Time family. They have limited availability and supply, so get your tickets while they last. You know, you don't have to guess when it comes to Game Time either. They're going to tell you what it costs, no hidden fees. You're not going to be wondering, well, where am I actually sitting? How does this? No, they take all the guesswork out of it. They're going to take care of you. And I freaking love what they do. Their app is easy to use too. You can browse through seats on the Game Time app. You can talk about and the games that you love. You're going to find the tickets that you want. So I'd recommend you check it out today and sign up. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code PHNX. You're going to get $20 off your first purchase. So you might even be able to get into that D-backs Dodgers game for nothing out of pocket. So why wouldn't you do it? 50% off the Labor Day game. Suns D-backs. And that'd be a really weird game.
I mean, it would be
Suns,
fascinating though.
D-backs, Dodgers. Get in there. Get your tickets today at Game Time. Download the app. Create an account. PHNX is the code for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time!
Game time.
Lindsay,
right,
you're totally in my head now with these ads. Yeah. After you told me to wrap them up quicker.
Sorry. If it makes you feel any better, I don't know how to read anymore. So
I mean, I couldn't either.
There's that.
I read something that I was supposed to. And I did it out of order too. So,
it's okay.
That's fine.
We got a super chat from Psycho Blue. Thank you, Psycho Blue. They said Basketball Cthulhu thinks the biggest rivalry is the Suns versus the basketball gods that curse this franchise with endless entropy. Hey, but hey, if the Chiefs can finally break through, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Sooner rather than later would be
Fingers
great.
crossed. That'd be lovely.
I
How
told
many
you.
more years do we have
This
to have
year.
of this shenanigans?
This year, he did say it.
Campaign promise.
The man did say that.
Elect me and we're going to make it happen. Mayor PHNX.
Next up, the Houston Rockets. So,
Oh boy.
there's some old school stuff. There's some new age stuff, right? The newer one, of course, they got Dylan Brooks. And he seems to always have issues with book, even at media availability in Summer League. Like, what are we doing?
Team USA. I mean,
Yeah.
cutting them off. Like, you're on Team Canada, bro. Like, don't flex like that, all right?
Yeah.
Look,
Don't flex like that.
look, man. The current, okay, you got that. You got the KD stuff that it was pretty obvious they stirred up in the media this summer. That's all well and good. But go back to the mid-'90s. Michael Jordan is retired. The Phoenix Suns have Charles Barkley at the height of his powers. They have one of the best rosters that they've ever had in back-to-back seasons. The only team standing in their way between them and the Larry O'Brien trophy is the Houston Rockets. They go up 3-1 and they lose. Mario Elie, kiss of death. Robert Horry and Sam Cassell, rip your hearts out. Hakeem doing the dream shake and making the Suns' sorry excuses for centers look ridiculous. I can't let these guys off at anything but the tail end of pure evil.
Oh, wow.
Because the Suns would have back-to-back titles if it weren't for the Houston Rockets.
Oh, wow.
All right? And it's Houston, which is humid all the time. I don't like humidity, so that goes in there. But really, it's 93 through 95. To hell with the Rockets. You are pure evil in my books.
I love that you cited humidity as a reason
Right.
for pure
Humidity's
evil.
When you
I
say
didn't bring it
93
up
to
at all when we were
95, I
talking
didn't know if
about
you were talking
Miami.
temperature or not, you know?
Exactly. Is that the percentage of humidity or were those the years?
Both.
Yeah, I was going to go big time rival
Yeah,
just because the Bulls are in there as well. But you made a compelling case. And like the fact that you lose in this conference semis back-to-back years, 7 games back-to-back years to the eventual champs back-to-back years. And that was the end of Charles Barkley in Phoenix, basically, in terms of competing for championships. So,
Well, and the insult to injury, they ended both of those runs. Then a year later, Charles Barkley demanded a trade to where? Houston.
Yep.
And you know who we got in that trade?
Yeah.
Robert Horry, who threw a towel in Ainge's face and then became one of the greatest villains in Suns history. I'm talking myself into putting him higher than
argued.
Denver at this point.
Well argued, sir.
I mean, facts. So I'll let you have your win here.
I'd go pure evil. They're behind the Nuggets for me just because of the current state of things.
Fine.
But yeah,
that was very compelling, Espo.
Yeah,
Great
you guys.
job.
You guys put this topic on a tee for me.
We
This
did.
is like,
we really did.
Espo, unleash all that fury, get it out so we can have a better.
This is your
let 'em
moment
cook.
to shine.
This is your moment to shine. Okay. Let's do a quick recap so far.
Okay.
So in pure evil, we've got the Bucks, the Nuggets, and the Rockets. Big time rival, we've got the Bulls and the Warriors. We have 0 teams in some beef so far.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at little beef, we have the Brooklyn Nets, the Miami Heat, the Utah Jazz. And then in the You're Cool category, we got the Washington Wizards, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
Okay. Next up, the LA Clippers. I feel like there was more beef back then, a couple years ago, than there is currently.
I would say like some beef or top of little beef. I feel like most of the beef is from their side of things because the 2 times that we faced them in the playoffs, they haven't been whole. So they continue to look at those playoff series as like, man, if we had Kawhi Leonard healthy both times, or man, if we had Paul George healthy for most of those games, maybe things would be different. From our end, it's just kind of like, yeah, we faced you in the playoffs. We beat you both times. You weren't whole. We did what we were supposed to do. I feel like having 2 recent playoff matchups puts it at like some beef, but there's
Paul
not
George
a lot.
is gone.
Paul George is gone.
And that was a big factor. And the word on the street is Paul George and Book are cool now.
Right.
So is the actual beef even squashed, even if he was still on the Clippers?
And Pat Bev is gone too.
I just feel like it's lower on the totem pole than what it would have been like 2 years ago.
Let me make this very clear.
Oh boy.
The LA Clippers are at the back of their cool.
Wow.
Because not once in their sorry sack of a history have they ever been any kind of threat to the Phoenix Suns. They're not even a threat in their city. They're the second best basketball team in their own hometown. All right? They came from Buffalo. They moved to freaking San Diego, and then they begged their way into LA. They've always been the pathetic little brother of the Lakers, and I've never been concerned with them, nor ever will I be concerned with them. So put them at the end of their cool, because who cares?
This man is ready for opening night.
Oh my
He's already
God.
giving them
Screw
bullets
your
and board.
toilets, Bomber.
Hey, he needs that many toilets because have you seen some of the floaters they've left over the
Oh,
years?
no.
Wow.
The Clippers stink, all right?
Wow.
That's funny. I appreciate the argument, but they got to at least be in a little beef.
Yeah, they're at least in a little
Their
beef.
own city doesn't care about them. Why should we?
Their own city will definitely care about them now that they have the new arena.
Okay, they'll care about the building. Great place to watch a concert. Cool place to watch basketball.
I mean, I'm just
not a cool team to watch.
by every measure other than titles, because the Lakers have won a title more recently, obviously, and Clippers never have. The Clippers have been the more successful team over the last decade by far. Like they're more relevant. They're a Pacific Division rival. Like
it don't matter.
I think little beef.
It does. I'm not saying it matters in terms of their significance. I'm saying on this list it matters a little.
Okay.
This team, hold on. This team couldn't even ditch a nickname that made sense in San Diego when they moved to LA. They're still half in San Diego because
You
they
could
weren't
say that about the Lakers.
yeah.
Theirs makes
Don't
less
worry.
sense.
Don't worry. I got a lot coming for the Lakers.
Oh, boy.
All right.
So there's some good points in chat, and not to disparage you, but they said if they were cool, this wouldn't get this type of emotion out of you.
Fair.
I think
That's
just
a great point.
Just the fact it doesn't mean that like rivals doesn't mean that they're a constant threat to the Phoenix Suns, but it does mean that there's some emotion between the two.
We kind of
teams.
like beating the crap out of them when it happens.
There's no emotion.
We do.
Let's be honest.
What do you mean there's no emotion? You just screamed for like 2
That's
minutes
not
long.
emotion.
He's like, that's just how I talk.
That's my
a natural,
default.
That's a natural state. All right.
That's
relate.
factory settings.
Look,
Can't relate.
the Clippers got the Walmart version of Winning Time, even, right?
That
They
was
can't even get a
terrible.
television show about how bad they were that rivaled the Lakers show.
But you watched.
I watched one episode and I went, this is so bad. It makes me feel sorry for
Did
the
they
Clippers.
put out the whole season?
Oh my God, it was so bad.
Did it make it to the end of the
I don't
season?
know.
Yeah, they got to be in little beef.
They
Little
can't be
bit.
in there cool.
We played them twice in the playoffs in the last like 4 years.
Here, I'll let you pick. I feel like it could either be right behind the Nets or right behind the Heat.
We should have had an additional tier that was completely insignificant, and that's where the Clippers could have gone. But you know what? You can put them between the Heat and the Nets.
Okay. Let's
there
put
we
them
go.
there. Well, Espo, take the floor again. Because
Yeah,
next up we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. Just go.
Now we're to the true scum of the earth in LA. I'm not even going to say that. Put them at the top right now of pure evil. Because if anything exemplifies pure evil in basketball, it's the freaking Lakers, all right? First off, to your point, they couldn't even get rid of the name Lakers. You know how many lakes I've seen in LA? About 0, all right?
Wow.
Pathetic. Dumb name team, right? Then the freaking Showtime Lakers. Everybody wants to talk about Magic and the Showtime Lakers. The Cotton Express was a better team. They just didn't get as good a luck at times. I am sick of the Lakers. I don't want to hear it, Gerald. I am sick of the Los Angeles Lakers buying their way to titles. All right? Freaking buying a Shaquille O'Neal out from under the poor Orlando Magic. And then puffing your chest like you did something. All right? And then watch about the 7 seconds or less Suns, what they did to your precious Lakers. All right? And then, Jay Crowder's salsa dancing all over your ass. All right? And then you give us Frank Vogel. Thanks for that, boys. Lakers can go on pure evil for so many reasons. The only thing I liked about them was Winning Time and Jeff Pearlman's book, Showtime. And even that I felt dirty reading or watching.
Go off, Espo. Round of applause for you.
I cannot believe.
Cool.
And LA is a dirty city, and I hate it.
I agree with that part.
I mean, I like LA.
I hate LA. Hate that city. I'm sorry. You just said that the Suns were a better team than the Showtime Lakers. I can't get past that one without saying I don't endorse this man's statement in that regard in any way, shape, or form.
Man,
just want to separate
they had a club
myself.
in there that everybody was up there doing cocaine. I blame them for the '80s cocaine Suns.
Oh my
That's how that happened. I blame LA for that too.
And now we are officially off the rails.
Oh
But
my God.
I do get your feelings.
Mhm.
I definitely do.
Yeah,
Gonna reel it back a little bit here.
they're the top of
They're
pure
in
evil.
pure evil for
They're at
sure.
the top. Like, well, I think we've lost them 9 times in the playoffs and beaten them 5 times. If I counted right.
Also, the biggest thing is that like when it comes to the Lakers, the thing that pisses me off the most is that they never have like the down period that everybody else does. There's some way that everything just somehow falls into their favor.
And even like they do
Like
have
you're gonna
down
tell
periods.
me that that's all good luck.
They have down periods, but the
they're,
problem
like,
is
not the same.
they're always covered. They're always relevant. They're always in the spotlight, even when they're dog shit. And then they fall ass backwards into LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like,
Yeah,
it's annoying.
Plus,
is.
in the '80s and the '90s, their owner couldn't figure out how to button his damn shirt. You had to see his chest hair all the time.
Gross.
Plus, they get all these celebrities sitting courtside. You ain't real fans, Denzel. You ain't real fan, Jack Nicklaus. You just want to sit there and be near the stars.
Jack
We're real fans
he was
here
a
in
Clippers
Phoenix.
Nicholson or Nicholas?
Nicholson.
The golfer? I
too.
was like, what was wrong with the
I
golfer?
don't like any of you, all right? If you're a Lakers fan, get stuffed.
Yeah, so they're top of pure evil.
Evil. Gay.
TLDR, top of pure evil.
At the very, very top.
Very top.
Yes. Very top.
Very top.
Very top. And it's not just like historically based either, because we did just play them in the playoffs a couple years ago, and that was contentious as hell because that was Suns Lakers. That was our first playoff series in forever. The Jay Crowder salsa dancing and all that stuff.
They
Like
tried
It's
to
fun,
kill
though.
Chris Paul.
they did.
They did.
Yeah. Ifs were fists, we'd all be drunk. We got a great quote out of that.
Well, now that we got that out of our system, let's maybe settle down a little bit here
The Memphis Grizzlies.
until the next one. The Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, listen, they had Dylan Brooks back in the day, and that's where that all kind of stemmed from, but he's no longer on the squad. I feel like when you look at Ja, again, a couple years ago, there was some beef fan base wise because we felt like Ja was getting all this love that we felt like Devin should have been getting, the whole shoe thing or whatever, which you can make the argument that like Ja is very flashy. And at that point in time, he was super marketable. Then everything happens, kind of falls off. Now are we going to be in this weird like battle if Ja and the Grizzlies can figure it out again? Are we going to be right back to Ja book conversations again?
I don't know. It really, for me, depends on how good they are this season, because there was that time, those 2 seasons when they were really good, where they were rubbing everybody in the league the wrong way. They were kind of like the Suns, the swagger that they had, the way they just came into your house and kicked your teeth in, they were like that, but they were a worse version, you know, their pregame like intro music that they would do, that type of thing. But if they're not good, if they can't stay healthy, then they're less of a rival for me. Like the whole Dylan Brooks thing, that's long past. I think the last time we had a good game between these teams that came down to like a game-winning shot was Jaw in 2021 when he hit a game winner on us. So I feel like it's been a minute. I would probably go Lil Beef.
Yeah.
Yeah. Memphis, just like your barbecue.
Oh boy.
Little Beef. All right. Not my favorite. All right.
Wow.
Then John Morant. We'll get to you here right now. All right. Your shoes, trash. They're called second rate to the book ones. All right. The only reason that you're ever considered part of Devin Booker's stratosphere is because you can dunk. Congratulations. All right. You ain't in Devin Booker's level. You won't be in Devin Booker's level. And you're not a rival. So enjoy Little Beef.
I feel like you have like a little monologue prepared for each one of these teams.
I feel like they have to be a little bit higher. They definitely have to be higher than the Jazz in my book.
I would
kind of feel like even higher than the Heat, to be honest with you, because there was a smaller period of time. It was a small beef, but it was still there. And I feel like I don't know.
I'd put them between the Clippers and the Heat.
Okay.
I'll accept that.
That's good. All right. I guess I didn't really space this out to give your heart time to like settle. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, the sweep this past year crushed all of our souls. Anthony Edwards just like dancing on our grave and then going and befriending Book.
Befriending. All right.
So,
that's defensive.
Words.
Befriending.
He took Lindsay's words away.
I mean, it's just like the whiplash when it comes to Ant, right? Like, how are you going to come in here, sweep our team in the playoffs, do a little
dance
X on us in our own home, and then be best friends with both Kevin and Devin at the Olympics and make us like you again? Like, sir, pick a lane.
Anthony Edwards is not a serious person.
Oh, boy.
Just going to say it. All right. It's just not.
Why is he not a serious person?
Well, because how can you be as demonstrative as you were in round one on our home court and then act like you're best friends with our boys when you get to Paris? That shit don't fly. I mean, all right? And
they didn't seem to have a problem.
Let me just say this. Minnesota, congratulations. You got a sweep in the first round. How many NBA finals have you been to? How many great teams have you had? How many times have anybody had real expectations for you? How'd Christian Laettner work out for you? I don't have any concern when it comes to you. Little beef for me. No, you know what? I'll put him
It's gotta be some beef. It's gotta be some beef.
Recency bias will put you in some beef.
I have him in big time rival.
I feel like they're definitely going to be a big time rival.
They're on the rise.
They're
man.
definitely on the rise.
Even before the sweep, we had the whole thing with Cat doing the thing to Jay Crowder, and that game got contentious. Rudy Gobert, the
Book
fact
yelling
that
at the fan.
Book yelling at the fan. The fact that like Book doesn't like Rudy Gobert and likes to dunk on him or hit shots over him whenever he like. This has to be big time rival, especially since we just got swept by them, and they're not going anywhere either.
Before or after the Warriors?
I would have them before, but I can see an argument for after, just based more on longevity.
I feel like they have the most room to rise.
Yeah,
but I don't think
they're not quite there yet.
It's like you can put them behind Golden State.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
We're not going to have any some beef.
We do.
It's just going to be completely empty.
We do.
We'll get there.
I feel like the New Orleans Pelicans could fit well in some beef. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are we ready to call them a big time rival?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
But I think they're a little bit more than little beef.
I would have them after the Timberwolves in big time rival, honestly.
Okay.
But what? Okay, outside of Alvarado, is there anybody you really hold any?
I mean,
resentment
Zion,
towards?
remember Gerald talked about it in his new letter, the 360 dunk. Wasn't that like at the end of the game when then everyone was like,
you literally got on here and yelled at Pelicans fans, and then they quote tweeted it to death.
Yeah.
There was
And
beef.
I'm a kinder, gentler
started it.
towards the Pelicans fans. You guys, we're cool. I don't got we can put you in your cool if you want to. That's where I'm at.
You tell us. You want to be cool or not?
That's only because you don't think they're a threat anymore. If they come out and they win 55 games this year,
plus they stole
you're
Willie
gonna be singing
Green.
a different tune.
Gerald, it's because their fans are a threat, and I learned that firsthand. All right, so they cool if they want to be cool.
I feel like they definitely, there's contention, right? With the Zion 360 dunk and all of that. That was years ago, though. The playoff series was years ago. I think
it was only 2
Wasn't
years
that the
ago.
FJ
Still
Crowder
years ago?
thing
It was only
too?
2 years ago.
the
FJ Crowder.
Yeah.
The entire team except for one player on the Suns is gone from that.
I vote some beef.
I think some beef.
I don't think I'm ready to call
They're
them
at the
big time
tippy
rival
top
yet.
of some beef if it's some
That's
well,
beef.
they're the
fine,
only
I'll
one
give
at
you
some
that.
beef right now.
Well, yeah, but I mean, looking forward, they got to be at the top of some beef
I'll
because
give you that.
I think yeah, you're right. There aren't as many Suns players that are still around, but all of the Pelicans pretty much are, and those games get chippy as hell. Especially because just last year, Book capped off a 3-game run where he dropped 50 on them each time. Like they hate us.
Get stuffed.
New Orleans fans, that's at Gerald Bourget.
I didn't
You
say
can reach him
anything.
there.
I didn't say anything
Please
controversial.
leave our reviews alone. I think you're cool. So
Just want to let you know.
that's where we're at.
That's a man that learned his lesson.
You're cool.
Just with one fan.
Just with one.
The New York Knicks. Obviously, the biggest thing here is that every single summer they try and pretend like they're going to get Devin Booker from us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's annoying.
Mhm.
They don't pretend it though. It's screaming A. Smith.
But who
do
are
we
they?
wrap it in
Who is
there?
he getting it from?
His own mind.
I mean, facts, probably majority of it. But he's had conversations with people in the Knicks front office who at least are saying we'd love to have Devin Booker.
Mhm.
And I'm sure the Knicks genuinely would like to call the Suns every once in a while and see if things are different this time around.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be on their radar for the next 5 to 10
And even
years.
if it only comes from that one source, it's still you and your fan base, in my opinion.
still has
so
millions
y'all
of
get lumped
followers.
into the same bucket. Sorry.
Well, it's not even that, though, either. Like, the Knicks are a good team. We had Jalen Brunson drop 50 on us and ruin Sean Marion's Ring of Honor induction last year. They now have Mikal Bridges, so you know that's going to be a thing.
Does that create a rivalry though? Everybody loves Mikal Bridges.
No, but I think that
Not
they're getting
everybody.
a little bit better now. And you add in
You add in Mikal Bridges on a contending team, a Knicks team like that, there's going to be some old feelings dredged up there.
Yeah.
Chat says Amari as well.
Amari.
Okay, I
Yeah.
actually am the reverse on that.
Mhm.
They saved you from signing. Now, granted, you didn't use the money wisely, but they saved you from signing Amari to a maximum contract when his knees went bad completely a year after he got there.
Mhm.
So there was 4 years that contract looked like an albatross for New York. I think they actually did you a favor. They play in one of the coolest arenas in the world.
Mhm.
And I can't muster a lot of beef with them. They're a little beef at that for me.
Mhm.
I would be okay with them being towards the top part of Little Beef. Maybe at the end of some beef in the sense of like it could grow to that.
Yeah, I would probably say at the end of some beef.
All right.
I don't think about them too much.
You can put them at the end of some beef. That's fine.
All right. The Cleveland Cavaliers. You
Big
want to go back
time
to Donovan
rivals.
Mitchell?
Stop.
Has nothing to do with that. We're in the mortgage business now, baby.
Oh, God.
UWM versus Rocket Mortgage.
Team
It's
UWM.
the business beef of the century.
We should have made it. We should have made it its own category.
Rocket beef.
Rocket beef.
Mortgage beef.
So we're going to put him in top of pure evil just for ish.
I will give you Loki. I would give you the end of some beef for this one.
Is there not? I mean, come on. It's fun though.
No, that's
so,
what I'm
like,
saying.
it's
The end of
harmless.
some beef because
Yeah.
this definitely added to it.
It's harmless beef.
Yeah,
For
I'm
us.
okay with it.
And then you can throw in Book and Donovan Mitchell still. I think they
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
like to play each other, and there's always those conversations that are going to be had.
Mhm. I'll go some beef. I'll go end of some beef.
Yeah, I'm okay
Go
with
with that.
that.
They
Why
did.
not?
They did trade a Suns legend, Ben Wallace. So
All right, we got the Portland Trailblazers up next. Obviously, the biggest issue here is that they stole Tumani Kamara from us, and we hate you forever for
Is that the
that.
biggest beef?
That is the biggest beef here.
I don't think that's the biggest
early
beef.
90s. They were a little bit of thorn in the side for the Suns in the Clyde Drexler,
Mhm.
Terry Porter days. Terry Porter was a shit coach for the Suns, so maybe you hold that against them a little bit as
Yeah.
well. I'd put him behind the Jazz there. and little beef to me.
That's fine.
I feel like if there's beef, it's more of a victory lap variety for Suns fans in terms of the DeAndre Ayton trade. Not because they're happy with Nurk necessarily, but just because they enjoyed his first season. And I feel like we should be at the point where like just move on, get past it.
And we love Grayson, so thank you for helping facilitate that.
Yeah.
The Sacramento Kings, House Sun Kings forever, and ever and ever and ever.
I actually kind of like the Kings.
I'm not mad at them.
Okay,
I don't have any animosity towards any of these teams,
beef,
but
I feel like
there's not beef. I will say
that was the most beat report.
I will say I don't. Well, I know I don't. But if we're looking for beef, the fact that over the last like 5 to 10 years, I feel like every time these teams play, and they play 4 times a year, they find a way to have just ridiculous, crazy competitive games. Like we had the big comeback game against Sacramento. There was also the game near the end of the season that was very close down to the end that the Suns needed to stay out of play-in territory. I feel like they always just go head to head. And we always, even when the Kings were bad, we would always find a way to like lose 1 to 2 games to the Kings. I don't know if that's enough to constitute beef, but just as a Pacific Division team, I'd probably put them near the top of little beef, end of some beef.
I'm okay with the top of little beef. I don't know if I'm willing to say some beef because I feel like there's, to me, I feel like you have to have a little bit of off-court drama.
Yeah.
To be some beef, in my opinion. And I don't really do. Am I tripping?
No.
There's really no off-court drama with the Kings.
They have Alex Len
and JaVale McGee.
Look, they're in my books. They're cool. I've actually. I don't know if it's
I'm kind of cool with that
shared trauma because we were both so bad.
It's very much that.
I mean, I don't know if it's because in the early 2000s I was rooting for them to beat the Lakers, and those teams, with that group there. I can't muster up anything that makes me mad.
The biggest thing that pisses me off about the Kings is that the beam actually ended up being kind of cool.
Light the beam, yeah.
And now I'm a little jealous that they have it and we don't have anything. Because we all made fun of them for it in the beginning. And then it turned into like a full-on rally cry for the city. And I'm like, okay,
I think
pretty cool.
Kind of ate with that one.
I think the worst thing about the Kings is that they went away from the royal blue and red.
No.
I mean, that's like the worst. And I can't even get mad at that as a uniform nerd.
We can go little beef. We have
Where
to, we have to have little beef just because they're a good playoff caliber team that we see 4 times a year.
Little beef.
Where at? They got to be, just from a play perspective, they got to be better than the Heat.
Yeah, I'd put them
least
behind the Grizz, in front of the Grizz.
Yeah, let's do right behind the Grizz because
Okay.
there was a little bit of off-court shenanigans with the
Sacramento,
Grizzlies.
I love you, and I will not stand for the slander. You're cool in my books, and it has nothing to do like the freaking New Orleans Pelicans. This is just out of the genuineness of my heart. So.
House Sun Kings forever.
That's nice.
We'll recap here in just a second, but first I do want to remind you guys that no one does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. They go all in with over 4,500 slots and live table games. They also have one of the best sports books that you can find in the Valley. You can catch all the action at any of their sports books across all of their resorts and casinos. The food is phenomenal. You can go super upscale or more approachable. So casual to classy, bar to bar none, as they wrote in this ad read, which I absolutely love. That's a very clever play on words there, Gerald. That sounds like something you would write. Yeah. They also have an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you will not find anywhere else in the desert. They've set the bar high, so head on out and let them show you what next level is all about. And don't forget, as I mentioned at the top of the show, we'll be hosting the PHNX Fantasy Draft out at Wild Horse Pass on Thursday at 6:30. So come hang out with us. You can get all the information at gophnx.com. And of course, we will have more Suns watch parties and more with our friends at Gila River Resorts and Casinos throughout the season as well. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more information.
Look, I love a great deal as much as the next guy, but I'm not going to climb through hot coals to get it, right? I'm not going to suffer at the hands of big wireless because I want some fancy deal. No, I'm going with Mint Mobile because there are no strings attached, right? You want a big deal, I got a big deal for you without making a big deal about it, right? You can get wireless unlimited for $15 a month for your first 3 months. That's $45 out of your pocket, and you're getting high quality 5G internet and phone calls crystal clear. I love my friends over at Mint Mobile. They take care of me, and I want them to take care of you as well. You need to go to mintmobile.com/Suns. There you'll see that right now all 3-month plans are only $15, like I told you, including the unlimited plan, which I love. You can bring your own phone. You can have a second phone if you want with them, or you can switch everything over to Mint Mobile and they'll take care of you. It's just that easy. You want to switch plans and keep your number? They'll take care of you there too. So right now, I want you to get this new customer offer in your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month by going to mintmobile.com/Suns. That's mintmobile.com/Suns. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Suns. That's right. Disclaimer must be read verbatim, just so you know. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customer on first 3-month plan only. Speed slow, about 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Don't want to know what you're doing with 40 gigabytes. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
You didn't read that verbatim. You added that in.
I did not.
Don't even lie.
It's in there verbatim.
Is
right
it?
There. Yep. Right after 40 gigabytes. You keep extending my ads. Stop this. You told me to keep them short.
Let's recap where we're at so far. In the pure evil category, we got the Los Angeles Lakers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Denver Nuggets, the Houston Rockets. In the big time rival, we've got the Chicago Bulls, the Golden State Warriors, the Minnesota Timberwolves. In the some beef category, we got the New Orleans Pelicans, the New York Knicks, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. In the little beef category, we got the Brooklyn Nets, the LA Clippers, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings, the Miami Heat, Utah Jazz, and Portland Trail Blazers. And in the they're cool category, we've got the Washington Wizards, Charlotte Hornets, and Detroit Pistons. Okay, so let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Here's the thing. I know, Gerald, you have them pretty high on your list.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have a lot of potential to become a huge rival in the next couple of years. I don't know that I would really call them that, like, super high yet. I wouldn't put them super high on the list yet because there hasn't been a whole lot between the two teams.
Let me clarify, though, because my rankings were currently, not all time. What we're doing is like bearing it all in mind. So the rankings are going to be different there. I think this has a lot of potential in the next year or two to rise because that's a young team that's not going anywhere. There's also the whole Kevin Durant angle. Even though he doesn't have any personal beef with them at this point, there will always be some sort of beef on whatever team KD plays for with that fan base. So I think it's going to grow. I think the fact that they are one of the biggest threats in the West to the Suns is going to increase that. I'd probably put them tail end of some beef just because they're a good team in the West.
Oh, you sweet, sweet youngins. You ignorant youngins.
What are we forgetting?
You're forgetting that they have the Seattle Supersonics history. And that was a true rivalry between the Suns and Sonics. In the 90s, they went back and forth.
They only met four times in the playoffs.
In the 70s, they went back and forth. Like, this is a real rivalry. Freaking Tom Chambers came from there. Freaking Paul Westphal was there. Like, there is true rivalry between them, right? I think they need to be
two of the times they met in the playoffs.
Big time rival.
2 of the times they met in the playoffs were in the 70s.
So,
like,
so the 70s don't count now, Jared?
You were talking about the 90s.
It's some beef.
Just because you weren't born there? I brought up the 70s too.
Did you?
Yes,
I thought you said 90s.
No, I said the 70s too.
I thought you said 90s.
I'll give you some beef.
I did say
Yeah, I said some beef.
Yeah. I don't want to put him in big time rival.
Why am I being yelled at for saying what you're saying?
He wasn't listening, Gerald. He
I
just
know
was
that.
ready
That's
to
what
go
I'm pointing
off.
out.
Just saw red, all right? Nobody said the Sonics, so I had to bring it up.
Where at? I think we should put them ahead of the Knicks.
Yes, 100%.
All right, cool. That's where we're going to plop in the Oklahoma City Thunder. Next up, we've got the Orlando Magic. I don't have much here, y'all.
No.
End of little beef, maybe beginning of their cool. I mean, unless these two teams wind up on a collision course to the finals at some point.
There's nothing there.
right.
I'd go top of their cool.
Sure. Let's do that. Top of their cool. The Philadelphia 76ers. We got the Eric Gordon revenge game coming up. And then, of course, we brought up Paul George. But again, seemingly squashed beef between him and Book. I don't know if it'll be like what it was when he was with the Clippers.
I go Little Beef because they gave us Charles Barkley for a song and a dance.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the most lopsided trades in history. So I can't even get myself worked up into a lather about them. Plus, they're not ever getting out of the second round, so we're not going to see them in the finals. So
yeah, and Book does tend to go off on them.
That's true.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
So Little Beef.
Yeah,
After
Little Beef.
I say they cool, but
okay.
in front of Orlando,
They're too good of a team to be there.
Yeah.
all right. Fine, Little Beef in front of the Jazz. That work?
Sure.
Cool. I probably would have gone ahead of the Grizz, but
Ahead of the Grizz?
You know what?
yeah, we'll split the difference.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
there
fair.
we go.
There we go.
All right. Look at that.
Look at us.
Teamwork. Sorry, Espo. The San Antonio Spurs.
Pure evil.
Pure evil.
All the beef.
Pure evil.
Right behind the Lakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not as much nowadays, but I think our history definitely
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, there will be in the next couple of years, I'm sure, a resurgence of that, but like current situation.
Yeah.
The 2000s give me enough fuel to hate them for my entire life.
Forever.
And Tim Donaghy being tied to that, Robert Ory. I like Greg Popovich, but Greg Popovich can be a dick too. Like I can't. No, they're right there in pure evil, almost neck and neck with the Lakers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for the fact I feel sorry that those people have to live in San Antonio. So
Yeah, they're like 1A, 1B Lakers and Spurs in terms of evil. I'd still go Lakers on top, but those Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili teams, like the fact that suspension happened against them that probably robbed us of a title. You don't ever forget those things.
Yeah. All right. We got the Toronto Raptors up next. I feel like the biggest beef that came out of Toronto was Book and the mascot.
That's pretty much it.
yeah, but you know what? People use that to slander Devin Booker.
They definitely
Right?
did.
They
There's
did.
at least a little beef for that alone.
Well, sources are told me that it was actually Chris Paul that was the one that was starting.
Of course it was.
That beef. So
That's
He knows all the
hilarious.
rules. Of course.
yeah. So you know what? They got to be at least in some beef for me because they weighed down Book in that false narrative that people love to throw at.
I'll
Plus,
put him at the end of some beef.
plus Drake.
Plus Drake. I don't know. I feel like Kendrick took care of him.
Yeah. He ain't of no concern
He's
no
not-
more.
He's irrelevant.
His Jordan remains.
I feel
right
bad
now.
at this point. Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. The end of
Some beef.
some beef
Yeah.
behind the Cavs.
Mhm.
Okay. The Atlanta Hawks. I don't have much
I
beef
got
here.
nothing.
I really don't.
It's
I think they're cool.
yeah, there's really nothing except for the fact that like on every trade deadline when we have half our team, they seem to kick our ass, but that was a thing of the past now.
No games on trade deadline this year.
Yes, we love that.
There's one.
What?
For us at least.
One thing.
What's that?
They could have beat the Bucks, so we could have kicked their ass in the 2001
They couldn't have
finals,
beat the
but-
Bucks. I would have loved that,
but,
but they
Um,
were well past where they should have been that year.
I would say the top of your cool.
Yeah. I think
I'd put them behind the Wizards.
Behind the Wizards?
Yeah, there's really
Yeah.
not anything
That's
there.
fine with me.
Okay. I don't care either way.
Yeah,
When it comes to their cool category, I pretty much don't care at all.
yeah.
The Boston Celtics. I think there's going to be more beef with the whole Jason Tatum.
76
Stuff.
finals
I would put them
This
behind
year.
the Bulls. in
behind the
big
Bulls.
time
I think that's
rival.
fair. Yeah.
I feel like every team, has something that irks them about the Boston Celtics, and the 76 finals. That's a tough one. I know most of us weren't alive then, myself included.
Mhm.
But in the heartbreak of this team, that was one of the first. So
Yeah. They've also kicked the crap out of us a couple of times over the last few
that's
years.
fair.
I just don't like the Celtics either.
Yeah. I'd put them behind
Like
the Bulls.
right
So we're going
now.
ahead of the Warriors and the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
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 I
That's
think that's
fine.
fair. The
Okay.
76 finals is up there too.
The Indiana Pacers. We didn't get
Jalen
Tyrese
Smith from
Halliburton.
us.
This is
They killed Sticks, kids.
this is mostly just regret over watching Tyrese Halliburton blossom. That's it.
They tried to give us Domantas Sabonis.
They did.
Like they were like, "Hey,
Mm.
we'll make a bad deal. You want
Yeah.
you want us to give this?"
Nah,
And we
we're
said
cool.
And they wanted DeAndre Ayton.
no. Yeah,
Nah, we're cool.
yeah. I have no
Sheesh.
problem.
Yeah,
with
they should be at the top of their
Pacers.
cool. No, the end of their cool. No. Yeah. We have no problems with the Pacers,
Yeah, I would
so
put
they
a-
should be towards the end, right?
I have jealousy with the Pacers
But
because they have
jealousy
Tyrese.
rivalry?
No.
Does MV count? No.
No, it's not. I'm just saying I have jealousy.
So where do
Chat's
you wanna
saying
put
that
them?
they are the ones who basically made us pay Ayton, and they're one that accelerated that process.
We were gonna pay
Yeah, you're
him
paying him
either way.
You could have
I get that, but
the Suns
they
could have let
saved
him
us.
walk.
They saved us
right?
money on the max contract that they
That's
would
true.
have had to give him. So,
I mean, yeah, it's still on the Suns. The Suns could have said, enjoy him, and moved on.
which
They
would have
didn't.
been stupid.
So
I know.
end of
Yeah,
their cool,
so-
like the coolest.
Is it
They're
rude to
the
put them at
coolest.
the bottom of that
Yeah,
list?
I think
I'd
it's
put
fine.
him between the Wizards and Hawks.
Okay.
It-
I'm just saying, I feel like it might be
Because
a
even
little-
if it's not a rivalry, it
It
still
could
hurts
come
to see
off.
someone else have what you could have
Let's
had.
be honest.
Yeah.
That whole last line, you could put them in any order. It
That's
doesn't
fair.
really matter.
All right, next up, the good old Dallas Mavericks, DLLS.
I know you got something prepared, so I'll let you take the floor.
Welcome to the family DLLS. Gerald?
Yeah.
No.
Trying to keep it PG or PC.
Look, I know I said at the top of the show that I'm forgiving you for one day only for the 2023
He meant 1
NBA
hour.
playoffs. I lied, all right? I lied. That hurt so damn much. You guys are a thorn in my side. If I ever see that Luca book meme again, which they actually put on the walls in DLLS, I had some beef with somebody already this morning that decided to do that. You had Mark Cuban during our darkest days, a man who tried to get me fired, but that was a funny story. I don't hold that against him. But you had a better owner during our dark days than we had. You gave Sean Marion a title, which we could never do. I got all sorts of problems with you, Dallas. Not DLLS, but you, the Mavericks, you're in pure evil.
I mean, the fact that it's also been so heightened over the last couple of years also adds to this. Like, I know history matters, but like being in the thick of it currently weighs heavy
Yeah.
in moving them up the list.
Yeah, I mean, there was a 2006 Western Conference Finals denying Steve Nash an opportunity to get to the finals. There's the fact that we should have drafted their franchise player, and not only did he go on to flourish, but he beat our asses in the playoffs head-to-head against the team that should have drafted him and the player that they chose instead of. Like, that's the plot to a movie. It's not real life, and yet it happened to us. And the fact that, like, every time we've played since then, it's been contentious as hell. These fan bases hate each other. They are right below the Spurs for me. And honestly, if based on the way these years are playing out, if it continues for the next few years, they might jump into that same tier as Lakers Spurs in terms of all time. We cannot stand this team.
I agree. Honestly, though, like, even with Book and Luca supposedly getting
Along.
friendlier with one another over the last year or so,
Mhm.
hanging out in, what were they, in Cancun or something over the All-Star break?
Mhm.
At least that's what we're speculating.
Mhm.
I still want to beat them.
Oh, yeah. Well,
It just turned from less of like it maybe has slightly moved from a full-blown hatred of Luca and the Mavs to, okay, now I just want to beat you because I want to beat you.
I don't sit well with having them ahead of the Nuggets and the Bucks
I
because-
do.
for one reason.
Why?
Because Mark Cuban made his worst move ever that gave us one of the best 8-year runs in Suns history by not re-signing Steve Nash and letting him come to Phoenix.
But then they beat him.
Yeah, but the Bucks beat us for a title, and the Nuggets are the Nuggets. That's where my problem.
There's
feel like
more
the
history
Mavs
with
are
the
the
Mavs,
Mavs.
though.
I mean, I guess when you look at
I
this,
could maybe-
there's very little separating all these.
I could
teams
maybe
we
give
hate,
you the
so.
Bucks because, again, like the start of time and then our last shot at the finals. Like, I could maybe give you the Bucks.
I can't even give you the Bucks
But
because we don't when we play the Bucks, like,
there's
yeah,
not
it's like,
that,
oh,
yeah.
there's a rematch from 2021, but it's not that same fire that when it's like Luca and Book or
The
Plus, you bring up
emotion
you
isn't
bring up
there.
the coin toss, right? But
Yeah.
let's just say this:
Mhm.
the coin toss was fate, right?
Yes,
right.
The Suns screwed up the number 1 pick and gave Dallas
they
Luka.
did.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'll give you it. I'll give you the third there. Welcome, DLLS. Nice to have you here. You're third on our list of most hated.
All right. And then last, but certainly not least, the Phoenix Suns.
Number one on pure evil, because they've done this to ourselves. You guys have done this to us.
This is all your fault.
As much anger as I've had on this list, it's you. You who did it to us. You.
Damn, this man really said it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
It's like those commercials, the PSAs in the 90s when it's like, Dad, it's your fault. You taught me. That's where I'm at. It's your fault, sons. You did this to us. You're number one. And I'm joking and almost crying all at the same time.
I know. I don't think you're even joking.
So
really.
are we putting the Suns at the very, very
do
top?
It. I support it.
They were either going to be number 1 or number 30, so number 1 makes the most sense. I guess.
Support it. I think it's funny.
Look, they let the fans vote on heads or tails for the coin toss, right?
Did they?
Yes.
Oh,
So the curse started with all of us. All of us. It's all our fault.
It's all our faults. Okay.
That's
so
brutal,
to
man.
recap on our rank and file list of biggest rivals, pure evil, number 1, the Phoenix Suns.
Then the call is coming from inside the house.
Then the Los Angeles Lakers, the San Antonio Spurs, the Dallas Mavericks, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Denver Nuggets, and the Houston Rockets. In our big time rivals category, we have the Chicago Bulls, the Boston Celtics, the Golden State Warriors, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. In the some beef category, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans, Oklahoma City Thunder, New York Knicks, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Toronto Raptors. In our little beef category, we've got the Brooklyn Nets, the LA Clippers, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Sacramento Kings, the Miami Heat, Utah Jazz, and Portland Trailblazers. In their cool category, we've got the Orlando Magic, we've got the Washington Wizards, Indiana Pacers, the Atlanta Hawks, the Charlotte Hornets, and the Detroit Pistons. Are we happy?
Do you realize in the top 8, we have 3 of our sister cities, which inevitably means LA is coming next.
Oh, God.
LACA will be next.
No.
Followed by SAST. I don't know.
SAST.
SASS. I mean,
SATX.
SNTN?
Sure. I don't care how you abbreviate it. They're
SNTO?
coming. Houston will be after that. Then we'll add Boston and Golden State and Minnesota.
Just round it out.
They're just going to add everybody.
MLPS.
Oh, no.
Like they're just shanking us every time they add a city. I see how it is. I love you all, city. Thank you for my job.
Also, if you're confused and you're like, what the heck are they talking about? We did just launch our Dallas chapter of ALLCITY, DLLS.
Stacked lineup.
I know
over there
you
for
guys
Mavs.
are not Mavs fans, but some of you, let's be honest, in Arizona, we do have a lot of Cowboys fans. Could be worth looking into if that's your thing, okay? If that's your thing, I'm just saying
man just exercised a
DLLS
demon.
is here for you.
If that's your thing, we can get you to Dallas too if you'd like.
For all the Lakers and Yankees fans watching today, we have a Cowboy show for
There you go.
out there
Exactly.
today as well. Can I
No.
just please
Oh, no.
the Clippers being next to the Nets and the Grizzlies and the Heat, like the Clippers need to be in some beef next to the Pelicans.
That's what I said.
Like I get
Next
that
to
you
the
don't.
Pelicans, all the way up there?
Yeah, the fact that the Toronto Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, which are purely off-court beefs,
Yeah.
are ahead of the Clippers, who we've played multiple times in the playoffs, whose fans hate us.
Yeah, but
Like-
it's more one way.
But it doesn't. It's still a rivalry. Like there's still emotion.
Even if your little brother hates you, like you still like beating up on your little brother.
If the Suns are playing the Raptors or the Cavs, there's 10 times less emotion than if they're playing the Clippers.
Fine.
And that in itself, I feel like needs to be up in some
I
beef.
will let you move it to some beef, but I think OKC and kind of the Knicks will surpass the Clippers rivalry this year.
Okay.
Hmm.
I feel nothing when it comes to you, Clippers.
You went on a 4-minute
Nothing.
rant.
You did.
It's like the longest rant you did for any team.
You were the most pathetic second fiddle in any city. I feel nothing for you. I feel sorry for you. I guess that's something. But other than that, nothing. All right?
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
The chat also wants us to move them up. So since the chat wants us to move them up, we will do it. Where should we put them?
I'd put them between Thunder Knicks or Knicks Cavs.
I think Thunder.
I'll
I think
give you
Thunder.
Thunder
Knicks.
Knicks.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't even
What did
think
he say?
about you, all
I
right?
said I don't care.
They're like the Mad Men line, where it's in the elevator. The guy says something to Don Draper, and he goes, "And I don't even think about you."
Mm-hmm. I don't think about you at all.
That's you, Clippers.
Connor says the Pat Bev beef. Well, for me, though, the Pat Bev beef is just like
it's a floating,
universal.
It's floating beef.
Yeah,
wherever he goes.
It's not a specific team that it's Pat Bev beef.
Yeah.
Like we could put his face on here if we wanted to.
Nate says Espo feels a lot more than he claims.
He does.
I'm kind of dead inside and kind of not, I guess.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That'll do it for us today. Thank you guys for helping us rank and file Suns rivals. We appreciate you. Be sure to, again, hit that thumbs up button if you're here with us on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe, wherever you get your podcast. And, of course, give the show a follow on social at PHNX_Suns. You can also follow me at Lindsay Smith AZ. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And you can follow Espo at Espo. Espo, take us home.
Just because I hate your city doesn't mean I don't like you. Oh, wait. Yes, it does. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.